Welcome back. And if you tuned in late today, I am enjoying very much visiting with Dr. Warren J. Carson from the USC Upstate. Now, he has spent his life in education, and it's a joy to have you here. And I don't even know where to begin, but we're talking about the importance of learning and how to support our children. And I'd like to ask you about our South Carolina school ranking. Now, that's a kind of a fiery question.
It is, and unfortunately, the rankings are based on any number of things, but South Carolina has often ranked near the bottom, along with other southern states.
But we're always at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, and it stigmatizes the students in ways that you wouldn't think probably. And what it suggests to some people is that students who come out of those schools couldn't possibly be up to snuff in terms of being able to be competitive in a collegiate environment or in the workforce or what have you. And, a lot of times I've just taken it upon myself to help students prove the naysayers wrong. That if it's never too late to start. It's never too late to back up and try it again. It's never too late to fill in the gaps that were open. So, I mean, there are ways to deal with that. A lot of it has to do with educational funding, student readiness for college or for the workforce or what have you. So, I mean, there are lots of ways that you can combat that, and I just think it's an unfortunate stigma that many of our children have to live with.
And I've often wondered who decides?
Yeah.
Who decides what state is better than another state?
Well, those metrics you'll have to talk to the State Department about.
But we have a long way to go yet.
I think we all do, and I think sometimes in our eagerness to move a little bit too fast and get to the top a little bit too quickly, we leave a lot of work undone.
Just pouring money into something isn't going to solve whatever problems are there.
No.
You need funding, of course.
I was about to say, and neither does withholding the funding solve the problem. So, I mean, there has to be a meeting of the minds, and there has to be, again, that's an excellent place for parents to get involved in terms of advocating for their own children and their own children's well-being and their own children's ability to move forward.
Get involved in your child's school.
Absolutely.
Know your child's teacher. Know what's going on. Know your child's interests and where they are falling behind, and be there to encourage them.
Sure. I've seen some interesting changes of late, so we're always hopeful.
And we are moving forward.
Yes, we are. Right.
You said you've seen it. What are some of the changes in education now?
Well,
I mean, you've had many years of experience.
I have, and one of the hallmarks is certainly with some of the special accelerated programs, some of the summer programs, the year-round schools that give different children the opportunity to continue to learn so that they don't lose any traction in terms of what they've learned over 3 months in the summer and have to come back and back up and start again. So the College Board has wonderful programs to address advanced placement and things of that nature, where students have the opportunity to learn, to demonstrate, to excel. They're just a wonderful world of opportunities available for students.
So you shouldn't pull back and just say, well, my child isn't going to do well, or that I'm not happy with that teacher, and you need to be involved.
Yeah, you have to be involved. And I know that a lot of times parents don't feel they have the opportunity to be active in their schools, but they need to take the opportunity to get engaged with their students and to see what the educational process is all about.
Now, you're a musician as well as an educator, and you had a gospel choir. Does it exist today?
Well, it still exists. I don't do the directing.
Okay.
I still operate in an advisory capacity, but yes, for a long period of time, I did the gospel choir at the University of South Carolina Upstate. At the same time, I directed
And it
church
still
choirs.
exists today?
It still exists.
Okay.
I directed church choirs simultaneously as well as community choirs. I mean, I've been involved in music, mostly gospel music, for the greater part of my life. And it's interesting. This year, the University of South Carolina Upstate began its year-long celebration of its 50th anniversary, and I was asked as part of that celebration to pull together a reunion concert for the gospel choir, which will take place in October. So I'm excited about seeing as many of the young people, some of them not so young anymore, come back. I started directing that group in the early 1980s and went up to about to about 2009. So I spent a lot of years with a lot of students, and they've gone on to pursue their own interests. They're professionals in their own right. Some of them musicians, many of them teachers, some of them lawyers, many of them parents, lots of parents.
Now,
So,
what do you see as a lifetime of achievement and experience and observing? What do you see the opportunities developing now? Because we live in a fast-paced world, and what you needed 50 years ago is
Well,
passe.
some of what you needed 50 years ago, you still need today. The basics never do change a lot. But, I mean, this whole development and pushing people toward science and math and technology, those areas, and especially getting women involved in those areas that have sort of traditionally been kind of male-dominated.
Yes.
But,
so the doors are more open.
The doors are open, and it is a different world in terms of what people can accomplish and what people can get engaged in. I just think that kids growing up nowadays have an absolutely limitless opportunity to get in and be and do whatever they want to do.
And you want to encourage parents.
Want to encourage
In what
parents? Well, again, parents need to feel comfortable being involved in their students' education. And I know many parents who've looked at the educational process and said, I missed this when I was in school. I'm going back and get my, and do some more study, whether it's finishing their high school diploma, whether or not it's completing a college degree, whether or not it's getting some kind of professional licensure or whatever. All of that's learning, right? And all of it speaks to how we develop our love and our zest for being lifelong learners.
Well, you are a many-faceted person because you're an educator, especially with English, and musician with gospel choirs.
That's right.
And
I think I burned out on gospel choirs for a while, on music for a while, so I kind of stopped. And I stayed engaged a little bit, but I was more than happy to turn over some of the heavy lifting to younger people who are far more talented than I could ever think about being.
all right, now in the little time we have left, technology is it today, And what fields do you feel there are opportunities for young people today that they might want to zero in on?
Yeah. Technology has revolutionized just about everything that we've touched. And so, I mean, students coming in nowadays deal with technological devices as almost second nature, whereas it took someone like me. I remember when the first desktop computers showed up, and I thought, what's that? How do we learn to operate it? And now you can carry things around like iPads and iPhones and all kinds of other devices. And That's really helpful. So just about every area that students want to go in has been impacted in some way by
So you
the
feel
growth of
there are great
technology.
opportunities in this world and the
Loads
years
of
to
great
come.
opportunities, absolutely. I see no end to it. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens in the next 20 or 25 years.
Well, I appreciate that you've come and shared your ability with us and your knowledge, and we just want to encourage young people to get in there and study as the school year opens. And if you're a parent, read to your kids. These are the things that are going to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much for
You've
having
made
me.
a difference.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
having me.
much.
Thanks.
And wherever you are, stay happy, and we'll see you next time.